Hello, I'm Chief Tony Jones of the Gainesville Police Department. This community briefing is intended to provide information about the use of the Special Weapons and Tactic Team known as SWAT on June the 2nd, 2021 at the Colliers International office located at 107 Southwest 7th Street. You're about to see relevant video footage and learn about the police procedures related to the case so that you can understand what occurred based on the completed investigation. The Gainesville Police Department Internal Affairs Division conduct very thorough investigations which typically require investigators to interview multiple witnesses, view numerous hours of video footage, and analyze significant amount of evidence. Due to the ongoing criminal investigation, we cannot cover any aspect of the open case per Florida state statutes. This video will address the service of the search warrant by our SWAT team. The Gainesville Police Department is a committed community policing agency who believes in transparency with our neighbors. The images in the video are dynamic and involve officers dressed in tactical gear. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for young children and sensitive viewers.
Hello, my name is Jamie Kernick. I am the Chief Inspector of the Gainesville Police Department. My primary responsibility is to supervise the Internal Affairs Unit. Over the next several minutes, I'm going to provide an account of the search warrant that GPD served on June 2nd, 2021 at Colliers International. The investigation began when a call was received at the Combined Communications Center for an officer to respond to Bosshart Realty to take a theft report. This occurred on July 31st of 2020. The case report is 02-20-10509. That same day, a GPD officer arrived to Bosshart to document the case in an incident report. This report was then forwarded to the Gainesville Police Department's Criminal Investigations Division for further follow-up. Please note, it is our policy with felony investigations that involve extensive follow-up to forward them to the Criminal Investigations Division. This case was originally assigned to Detective Tirado, who began working the case and later retired in the fall of 2020. The case was then reassigned to Detective Pinkston. 9 months after the start of the initial investigation, Detective Pinkston developed probable cause for a search warrant of Colliers International. Detective Pinkston's search warrant request was then presented to the State Attorney's Office for their review and approval. Once approved, an appointment is made with the judge. At any point in this process, the State Attorney's Office and/or the judge can deny GPD's request for a search warrant application if probable cause does not exist. The State Attorney's Office approved Detective Pinkston's search warrant request, who then set an appointment with Judge David Kreider on May 27, 2021. Judge Kreider reviewed the warrant, confirmed probable cause, and signed the search warrant. Once the warrant is signed by a judge, GPD begins the development of a plan to serve that warrant. The planning and execution of a search warrant are then coordinated by completing a matrix with specific factors that determine whether the SWAT team should be utilized for the safety of the occupants and those serving the warrant. Some of the factors include the location where the warrant will be served, the severity of the crime, past criminal histories of those being served, the potential for destruction of evidence, and other factors. There are 3 levels within the SWAT matrix. They include the low risk, medium risk, and high risk categories. This warrant fell within the medium risk category because of the possibility of the destruction of evidence and other factors. At this level, it is a discretionary decision by the SWAT commander and the Patrol Support Bureau captain to use the SWAT team for the service of the search warrant. Not all search warrants require a full activation of the entire SWAT team. During an evaluation of the factors of this incident, a determination was made to utilize just over half of SWAT personnel for the service of this warrant. It was determined by the SWAT commander, after a thorough review of the factors, that the utilization of the SWAT team would be appropriate for the service of this specific search warrant. An additional review of the case was completed by the Patrol Support Bureau captain, who also approved the decision for the use of the SWAT team. At any point, the SWAT commander or the Patrol Support Bureau captain can deny the request for the use of the SWAT team if certain criteria are not met. On June 2nd, 2021, at 9:25 hours, the Gainesville Police Department SWAT team, in coordination with the Detectives Division, served the search warrant at 107 Southwest 7th Street.
Doors open.
Yeah, one inside.
Gainesville Police Department, we have a search warrant. Come to the front door.
At 9:25 a.m., the officers began knocking on the door and announcing that there was a search warrant.
Come out.
What is this about?
Search warrant. Come out and talk to me.
Outside.
This allows anyone inside the business to voluntarily exit the building.
Hands up!
Hey, Ray, leave him.
Gainesville Police Department search warrant. Come outside.
At 9:26 a.m., individuals voluntarily came down the stairs and exited the building. An officer is giving verbal commands. All three individuals were detained in flex cuffs.
You're not being arrested, just detained, okay? Any weapons on you?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
You're not being arrested, okay?
Okay.
Hey, we're going to detain you. We're going to discuss the nature of why we're here and give you paperwork for release. Okay, sir? Hands behind your back.
After 3 minutes of making announcements with no response, the team entered the building. At this point of the search warrant process, there are no other individuals inside the building. Florida statute mandates that the police department reads the entire warrant to the occupants. The warrant gave the police department the right to take all electronic devices from the location as evidence, and not just the items from the individuals named in the search warrant. Additional instructions were given to the individuals that were detained about the property being collected as evidence and the ways in which the owners could later retrieve their property. All evidence collected during a search warrant cannot be released without explicit written permission by a judge through a court process. While Detective Pinkston reads the warrant, Officer Kamig is seen removing the flex cuffs from all three individuals. This is at 9:40 a.m. The total length that all the individuals were in handcuffs was approximately 14 to 15 minutes total.
Detective Ronald A. Pinkston and officers with the above agencies with such lawful assistance as may be necessary are hereby commanded in the daytime or at nighttime or on Sunday or as the exigencies of the occasion may demand to enter the said residence and then and there to search diligently for said property described in this warrant, and if the same or any part thereof be found on said premises, you are hereby authorized to seize, search, and secure the same and to conduct a further search on-site or off-site for the information to be seized.
GBD's SWAT team left the scene approximately 20 minutes after the service of the search warrant, at which point the scene was then turned over to detectives. All three individuals that were detained were allowed to move to the company conference room. While the detectives collected the evidence, 6 other individuals arrived at the business and were asked to join the individuals in the conference room, where they remained until the completion of the search warrant at 11:33 a.m. The total time for the warrant to be executed was 2 hours and 9 minutes from the time the search warrant was served until the location was released back to the employees of Colliers International.
All right, we are done. You guys are free to do whatever you want. Thank you for being patient, cooperative. Sorry for any inconveniences. Still all of you. Yeah. All right, thank you. Yeah, take care.
The internal affairs investigation of this incident revealed that the GPD SWAT team followed the established protocols and policies for approval of the utilization of the SWAT team in the execution of the warrant. In evaluating the policies and procedures of our SWAT team, we reviewed the policies of other similar law enforcement agencies in the state of Florida. After this review, we implemented an additional layer of approval for the utilization of the SWAT team in the service of a search warrant. All warrants that require the use of the SWAT team must be approved by the Assistant Chief of Police or the Chief of Police himself.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this briefing. I hope its contents were helpful to you in understanding what occurred on June the 2nd, 2021, when the Gainesville Police Department SWAT team served a warrant at Colliers International. Gainesville Police Department remain committed to being fully transparent in everything we do. If you have any questions about this incident or anything else, please don't hesitate to reach out to my office. Thank you for your time.